folks, I'm Funday.
And I'm Austin.
And this is The Dyson Quill, the web series where we give you, the viewers, our views, opinions, topics, and discussions about everything role-playing. Today's discussion.
The fighter.
The fighter! We're going to start working on classes, and the first class we're going to go with is one of what I consider the big four, and that is the fighter. So, what is a fighter?
The fighter is the one, simply put, he goes in and hits shit.
The fighter is the frontline guy. The fighter is the guy who is the first one in to start swinging his sword, his axe, his spear, his club, whatever, at whatever bad guy or problem is attacking the party. So, what are some examples of a fighter? Your armor-clad knight atop horseback.
Or a freedom fighter like William Wallace.
Right. A gladiator. Your common frontline foot soldier with spear and shield. So what are some of the pros of playing as a fighter?
Well, the first one I can think of is the simplicity of a fighter. Your main job and your role in the party is to go in and kill things. And that's personally why I like the fighters. It's very, very straightforward.
Right.
Hulk smash.
Pretty much. I like that they are flexible. A fighter doesn't have to be plate armor, sword, shield, going at it. A fighter can be very elegant. He can be very graceful. He could use a polearm. He could use a bow and arrow. He can use and operate and do his job in a myriad of different ways. The fighter is, in my opinion, one of the most customizable classes in the entire game.
Right, because even at first level, as a fighter, you have the entire equipment list available to you. You automatically start with a proficiency of light, medium, and heavy armor as you start. So that opens up a whole realm of possibility of what you can do with your fighter. Unfortunately, this leads straight to the cons of the fighter. I believe that even though it's a pro of being simple, it's also a con for more experienced players. And with the fighter being so simple, experienced players tend to get a little bored with the same template of walking in, running in, and hitting everything.
If you're not a very descriptive player, when it's your turn, you know, I'm going to do this fancy technique and yada yada yada. Essentially, it's your turn. What do you want to do?
I want to hit something.
Okay, roll for it. And you hit him! Hey, and you did more damage. Good job, buddy. Next guy. I mean, it can get monotonous. It can get a little dull. When it comes to combat, that's what you excel at. But in essence, you're so good at it that
it's the only thing you do.
It's boring because you just hit him. That's it. That's it.
You know, as a new player, you start to realize that too. So most of the fun from playing a fighter at this point comes from just your character development, the personality. And combat is the same thing over and over and over again.
Right.
At the same time, you still fulfill a very important role within the party.
Oh yes, definitely. And we'll get to the role of the fighter towards the end. Another con, low skill points. You know, skills is everything you need to use outside of fighting, outside of combat. You know, you want to talk your way out of a situation. You want to climb this wall. You want to pick this lock. You want to appraise this item. So many different things. It all revolves around skills. And the fighter just does not get very many skill points.
Right. At first level, according to the book, you only add 2 to your intelligence modifier. We'll cover modifiers, all that good stuff in another video. So you don't start with a whole lot of skill points right off the bat. And even every level you gain, it's only a 2 in addition to your modifier.
Right. Pretty much they focus on what your job is in combat, and that's punch things in the face. Mm-hmm. The last con I would say is you have no natural healing. Without a cleric or without another type of healing another type of class that can cast magical healing or whatnot, you're relegated to spending half your gold on
Healing
potions.
And even then, some towns you come across may not even have a potion shop.
Right, so you're dropping a whole bunch of money into the temple's donation bucket just to get your paper cut fixed. With no natural healing, it sucks, because your job is to fight, is to hit and get hit. And without a natural way to heal yourself, at least in 3rd edition, that could be a problem.
I believe it actually extends over to 4th edition, too.
Well, 4th edition, you have things like Second Wind and Healing Switches.
True.
Every character has them. We'll get to that later. Now on to the technical specs.
So, right off the bat, your number one highest ability or stat will be Strength. That's going to be how hard you can hit things. Secondary is either going to be Constitution or Dex, and he goes with Dex, and I go with Constitution. Constitution gives you more HP.
Dexterity gives you more armor class, so you're harder to hit. But Constitution, like he said, gives you more HP, so when you do get hit, it's not that bad. And so it goes into that flexibility. I mean, how you want to run your fighter. Most of your other classes, it's going to be you got a top 2, and that's pretty much about it. With a fighter, and with you being able to do so many different things, it can be either or. Now, level progression with a fighter is focusing, since you don't have any spells or any real kind of class-specific special abilities, we get more into the meat of the flexibility here, and we talk about every other level you get a feat. And a feat is like a perk, a special thing that you could do that you choose from a big old list in the book.
Page 90 and 91.
Big old list in the book.
Mm-hmm.
And that is going to... That's the meat of your customization. There are tons of feats surrounded around if you want your fighter to be more of an archer. There's tons of feats if you want him to be more of a in-your-face, front-line, big weapon, swinging hard kind of guy. There's feats if you want him to mainly fight off horseback or some type of mount. And that's when we come into the level progression, that's where the flexibility of the fighter really comes into play. Now,
the role in the party. So in any well-balanced party, there's always going to be at least one healer and at least one damage dealer. And then at least one character who's more of a support class that can do your practical skills, lock picking, that kind of thing. As your role in the party, you're a damage dealer. It's straightforward, You're dungeon diving or crawling through a dungeon, come to a room, there's 3 goblins. Your role is to unleash your mighty war cry, run in and kill them.
right. For you football watchers out there, the offensive lineman or the defensive lineman, that's your fighter. The fighter's role is to protect the rest of the party so that the bad guys with sharp things don't hurt the rest of your party members or your friends. You want your spellcaster to be safe and sound so he can cast his spells. You want your cleric to be good to go so he can heal you when you get hurt. You want your rogue to be able to have all of his fingers so he can pick pockets. And how you do that is you fight. You're the guy in the front. That's your job. That's your role.
Yep. And, to wrap everything up in one neat little package, a fighter, very, very flexible. And they're fun to play, easy to play, especially for new players. They fulfill one role, though. So just keep that in mind when you go to make your character.
And my summing up of a fighter, if you're a first-time player and you want to learn the basic mechanics of the game, be a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
That simple. Well, I think that's all we have for today.
Follow us on Facebook, D20 and Friends, and we actually have a YouTube channel now, the Dice and Quill. No, just Dice and Quill, sorry.
Right, so don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Leave us some comments, and it's okay if you're a little mean with them. We're big boys, we can handle it.
I don't care how you feel.
I kind of do. I'm a little sensitive. But, so, with that being said, one more time, I am Funday.
And I'm Austin.
And this is the Dice and Quill.
Stay classy, guys.
Bye-bye! Oh no! No, no, no! This is not how it's supposed to be! Whoa. Shake it out, get loose.
Oh shit, I already hit the record button. Well,
blooper reel! Hit the damn stop button.